started the rescue in '91 and by accident. It was with a kestrel that we were given by a vet to look after and rehab and hack it back into the wild, and it sort of grew from there. I actually started in falconry when I was in the Royal Navy. I joined in 1976 and left in '98, and I was actually a falconer on naval air stations, so that's how I actually got into it. Me and my wife actually run the rescue, but we've actually got a core of about 14 or 15 volunteers. It tends to differ slightly throughout the year, and we visit country shows, do flying displays all over the country.
Well, it started off as a hobby and turned into, as you can see, the rescue, which is, well, so we've been doing it now nearly 10 years, and it's things that we've just grown up with, really. And we're the only rescue that's actually in Dorset and Hampshire area. So we do lots of rescues, we've got all over the place, plus we're taking injured birds or even birds that nobody wants, change of circumstances. So yes, it's ongoing, because I won't be seeing John very often now because the weekends are coming and he goes away to all the shows and helps to do his things. John was in the Navy and he did a course down as like bird control, so he got into it. So he got a buzzard to start off with as his own sort of like pet project, flying him and going hunting. And then I got a Bengal eagle owl, so I got into it. And then we moved down here. We bought this house with a garden so we could get our own birds again. After that, it just progressed and we turned into a rescue, which we never intended to do.
Wessex Bird of Prey Rescue, we basically take in injured and unwanted captive bred birds of prey from all over Dorset and the New Forest. The wild birds, our aim is to get them out as soon as possible after treatment, and the captive bred birds is to rehome them with a suitable home. As a rescue, we only cover Dorset and the New Forest, and we're kept plenty busy enough for that. But saying that, we're not part of Raptor Rescue, which is a large rescue organisation, but we do work with them. And there's also other small rescue centres potted all around the country, and we tend to help each other out wherever we can. My main interest is in the hawks, buzzards and falcons, where my wife is more into the owls. But also I've got a daughter that flies a Harris hawk and a falcon as well, so the whole family's pretty much involved in it.
They've grown up with birds of prey. They've always grown up with them. I said, like when we lived in Plymouth, we had our own birds, so they've grown up with them. They fly them, so they're into it. They're into animals left, right and centre.
About 5 years ago we were broken into by what we think were animal activists. But what actually happened was they basically opened up aviary doors to let the birds go. In the case of the Harris hawks, which aren't indigenous, so why they'd want to let those go in the UK anyway, I don't know. The buzzards, they let go, and they let go a barn owl. We got most of the birds back the following day because they were display birds, but unfortunately one of the barn owls they let go was a captive bred bird that we had in for rehoming, but it had never been trained. So all they actually done was release that bird into the wild side of Camford Heath, and I would expect that bird survived for about 3 to 4 days, and then it would have died because it has no way of fending for itself or hunting for itself.
We've had buzzards that even I've thought were not going to make it, and they've been like, well, you've seen the size of the buzzards out there, and they can be quite nasty. The wild ones are very nasty. Captive bred ones, obviously, they're brought up with people, but when you get a wild one in, and then they're just lying there and they're not doing anything. They can't feed themselves, so you've literally got to, hold them, open up the mouth and put the food in. And then when they start getting a bit feisty, you're getting well on the way for their recovery. The more feisty they get, then that's it. You're going to be released, and that's one of the biggest things that you get a buzz out of.
One of the major birds we've had in this year are sparrowhawks, and sparrowhawks tend to fly into windows of conservatories or brick walls, or because they go flying after their prey and they don't care what's on the other side of the bush.
Oh yeah, well I do more on the sides of when the injured birds come in. I look after those and care for those until they can be released back in the wild. That's my main job. And that's what our bonus is, because like John's explained, none of us get paid. We're all very nice volunteers. But no, that's the best thing about it. When you actually release them, that's the best, when you see them flying off. Especially when the vets have turned around and said to you, we don't hold much hope for it, and that's a challenge. Well, this is a 24/7 job. You don't get any days off. You know, you've got to be here 24/7 purely because one, somebody always got to be on site, and two is you don't get the day off, not even Christmas Day, because they've all got to be fed and got to be watered and kept okay. So no, it's a job that you've got to be dedicated. You can't just take it lightheartedly, especially the amount of birds we have. Full-time job. It's going to go on for quite a while until we can basically, you know, we're not able to do it, then we'll carry on doing the rescue as long as we possibly can, which so far it's been near on 10 years. So as long as we're able and we're born, you know, we can do it, then we will carry on.